You're listening to the Fast F1 podcast. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast F1 podcast with me, Danny Kane.
And I'm Eddie Meteye-O'Kane.
And today we are talking about the 2024 Chinese Grand Prix. Talking about it a bit late. We had to record late because we had issues getting the Japan 2024 review podcast up online. But here we are, we're recording finally. What did you think of the race overall, Eddie?
Well, this is the Chinese Grand Prix, though.
Yes.
It was a good race, actually. Wasn't thrilled about it, but it was a good race.
Yeah, it had its moments, I guess. But anyways, I guess we'll dive into the first thing about it with it being the Chinese Grand Prix. It was Zhou Guanyu's home race.
And the only ever Chinese driver to race in Formula One. And I think the Grand Prix Series, too. I might have to look at that one, but I think that's true.
I think that is correct. I think he's the first Chinese driver in Formula One in Grand Prix racing. And at the first, well, not the first ever Chinese Grand Prix, but the first Chinese driver to then drive at the Chinese Grand Prix.
Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of Zhou and his teammate Bottas, the Saubers had better pace than usual.
They really did. I think they both got into Q3 in sprint qualifying.
No, I don't think they both got in. Oh, in sprint qualifying, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's true. It was a sprint race. We'll get onto that in just a moment. It was a sprint race weekend. Both Saubers better pace than usual. They actually had some relatively decent pit stops, not the 45-second pit stops or whatever that they had at the beginning of the year.
That's true. But I found it very weird how we had to start back at China with the sprint format, which we've never done at China, and we've had to wait about 4 years for China to come back.
Yeah, it was a little strange having a sprint race at China. But, we've had them in different locations. It wasn't that big a deal. One very strange thing that was happening in practice, and again, I think in the first sprint quali session, the grass started on fire.
I thought, the first time I thought, that's very weird, because I think the weather was supposed to rain that weekend anyways.
And it did end up raining for a little bit during sprint qualifying.
That's true, but then the second time I was like, I don't know, is someone starting these fires?
No, so that's what I thought too. So what I think it had to have been is just that they had some drier weather before the race weekend, and the grass had dried out, and then cars come by with, scraping the ground, and all the sparks and everything that you see, especially like at a night race, those sparks are still there even if you don't necessarily see them on camera. And some of that titanium that was scraping off the skid plate on the floor, that's super hot, bounces into the grass, and the grass being all dried out caught fire, and they had to go and put it out. But then you notice after it rained in sprint qualifying, the rest of that weekend, the grass would have been moist, so there were no more fires starting, probably because the grass was moist.
That's true, but what about practice 3? I don't think it was raining in practice 3, was it? Or wait, no,
well,
there was no practice 3.
Right. It was just one free practice session and then into sprint quali.
That makes sense why there wasn't a fire in practice 3. There was no practice 3.
Right, yep. So with it being sprint weekend, we had a sprint qualifying session, and pole position was taken by Max Verstappen again. No, it wasn't.
Yay!
It was by my boy Lando Norris.
I don't think that was accurate. I don't think he went off onto the gravel, but I think the reason why they reinstated...
Well, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's right.
His lap that was disqualified?
Yeah, or discarded, I think.
However they put it, yeah.
But
deleted.
Yes.
He had 2 laps deleted.
A lot of people had laps deleted during the sprint qualifying from the weather, and for one example, Max Verstappen, he was not on pace during the sprint qualifying, going off everywhere. But anyways, for Lando Norris, he set a very good time. I think more than 1 or 2 seconds ahead of Hamilton, who was in second as well.
Yeah, it was a flying lap.
But I think the reason, and don't quote me on this, this is just my feeling. We all know that the FIA don't like Lewis Hamilton, right?
Oh, I don't think that's the case.
I think it is. I really do.
I don't think that's the case at all.
I really do.
Well, the reason Norris had... So this is for SQ3, which sets the pole position for the sprint race. The reason he had his second lap deleted is because he went off track at the last corner. He had his third and final lap deleted because the rules say if you go off track at the final corner, your next lap also won't count. And that rule is in place for tracks like Austria, where if you go really wide through the last corner, you can have a blast of speed going onto the front straight, and you start the lap at a faster pace than you would otherwise.
Yeah, I figured that out.
But it was very obvious at China, he did not get a speed advantage by going wide. He was off in the gravel, so he started the lap slower than he did the lap before, and that's why they reinstated his lap, as they said, okay, fine, we can see that he didn't gain an advantage of any sort.
That's funny, because Austria is the one track that I do time trials on in a sim, and that's what annoys me every time, is that that's the one place that I go off on, and for some reason it says this lap and the next lap have to be redone.
And that's why, yep. And then it rained a little bit in SQ3 and a little bit more in SQ2, and then a little bit more in SQ3. And rain being the great equalizer that it is, the top drivers all kind of came together, even though Verstappen has had the dominant car, didn't end up on pole.
He got fourth, actually.
He got fourth, but the four drivers in the top four were Norris, Hamilton, Alonso, and Verstappen. And if you had to pick any drivers on the grid that are the best in the rain, those would be the four you'd pick.
That's true.
So, yeah, it really showed that how much the rain can make a difference, and those guys, yeah, their quality really showed. The sprint race itself wasn't as exciting.
No.
Norris went out wide in the first corner. Kind of got pushed out wide by Hamilton, but it was more his own mistake for not backing out sooner than that, and he ended up losing about 6 places as a result.
And then Hamilton led a race, though. I mean,
Hamilton led for a little bit, but then Verstappen inevitably came through and won the race.
Of course.
And you had Verstappen, Hamilton, Alonso on the podium for the sprint.
That's true. Alonso's first podium.
First podium of the year, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a podium. It's just a sprint.
Yeah, it was a sprint podium, but still a podium.
Yeah, but then the qualifying happened for the race, and Max Verstappen takes another record of the most pole positions in a row from the start of the season.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Hamilton, I think he set his in... I think he did 4 in 2015 or 16, and then Sebastian Vettel did 4 in 2011.
Okay.
I don't know if there were any others, but I think those are the only 2.
So Verstappen now has the most pole positions to start a season. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Interesting. Bottas into Q3 again.
That's true. Yeah, Bottas was looking really, really good this weekend.
Until
he had a problem with his car, it looks like.
Yeah, engine blew up on about halfway through the race. And it's unfortunate. He was on for points. He was having a really good weekend.
Yeah, it could have taken Sauber's way back up the standings like last year. They were, I don't think they placed, but 8th place, if I'm correct.
They were better than they've been this. I don't remember where they were exactly, but they were better last year than they have been so far this year.
Yes. Well, it's only been 5 races, though.
And yeah, Bottas had really good pace. He actually had, arguably, had he been able to finish in the points, he would have been driver of the day, or it would have been a candidate for driver of the day. Oh,
definitely.
Anyway. But yeah, unfortunately, the car stopped. They threw a local yellow flag.
They did not throw a safety car right away, though, or a virtual.
It took them a while to even throw the virtual safety car, and a really alarming amount of time, because he was in a braking zone. He was off track and a ways off track, but still, that's a pretty dangerous situation for him to be getting out of the car and other cars speeding toward him into a braking zone.
And it took a while for people to even get there in the first place.
Right. And then we had the virtual safety car for about a lap and a half before they finally threw the full safety car. And that ended up resulting in Lando Norris being able to leapfrog Perez. They did throw a full safety car, didn't they?
I think they threw a full safety car
They did,
first,
because
and then
they-
they had another incident.
Well, they had a virtual safety car. Then they had the full safety car because they couldn't move Botez's car without a crane.
Yes.
And then, so then the end of the safety car period, we were about to go green again. They throw the green flag right as Verstappen finally goes and takes
Wait,
off.
that's not this one, though.
Well, as he went to take off for the green flag, Lance Stroll decided that...
That's not this one, though.
Sure it was.
No, there were 2 safety cars.
Right, this is what led to the second one.
No.
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't?
Yeah. The
Okay.
second safety car happened because there were 2 incidents at the restart from the first safety car.
Well, what were the 2 incidents?
Lance Stroll decided that Daniel Ricciardo didn't need a rear end to his car anymore. And Kevin Magnussen...
That is one way to put it, Dad.
And Kevin Magnussen decided that Yuki Tsunoda didn't need a right rear tire anymore.
You are ridiculous.
So those 2 incidents both happened after the restart. So we got less than one lap of green flag racing and safety car again.
I think you're right about. Well, obviously, I know those 2 incidents did happen. I don't know if they were both after the first safety car or the second safety car. I don't remember.
They were both at the restart from the first safety car because there was debris on the track from those 2 crashes. That's why they had to throw the safety car again so that they could clear the track. So Lance Stroll, I mean, Magnussen's incident, it was his fault and he got a penalty for it. And unfortunately, took Tsunoda out of the race.
Well, what was his incident?
Magnussen?
Yeah.
That's where he and Tsunoda were battling, and they touched wheels, and it Tsunoda spun out,
Was it
wrecked his
Tsunoda?
race. What's that?
Was it Tsunoda? It wasn't a Williams.
It was Tsunoda.
It was Tsunoda?
Yep.
I feel
Yeah,
like
because both RBs were out on the same lap.
I don't know
as a
why. I
result.
feel like it was a Williams, but I think you're right anyways.
No, Sargent had his own incident. I don't remember what it was, but he got a penalty in the race as well for something. See, this is why if we wait a week to record, we can't remember everything.
Exactly. I mean, I
But-
think he didn't even notice by the end of the race that he even got a penalty. He wasn't told.
Sargent?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew. He knew that he had a penalty. I don't remember what it was. Oh, and I do remember what it was. He passed Hulkenberg under the safety car because Hulkenberg was coming out of the pits and got to the safety car
that's
line
right.
before Sargent did. But they got there almost at the exact same time. It was a really harsh penalty in my opinion.
I think it was Sargent. I told Dad this during the race. As soon as I saw it, I actually had to back it up. I was like, I think Sargent actually was ahead.
No, he wasn't. He was.
I still
behind.
think he was, Dad.
Well, okay, but he wasn't. And the FIA have confirmed that, and that's why he got a penalty. But it was a really harsh penalty. What they should have done is just told him to give the place back to
yeah, they didn't have to do
Hulkenberg.
that.
But they waited too long to make that decision, and so as a result, he got a penalty, which in the end I don't think made a big difference to his race, but still was kind of strange. Lance Stroll, though, his incident with Ricciardo was inexcusable in my opinion.
Yes.
He's gotten worse and worse, and it annoys me to no end that there are so many really good drivers in Formula 2 or in Formula 3 and in the junior series that have not had the opportunity to get into a race seat.
Felipe Drugovich.
Well, whoever, and then you have Lance Stroll, who's there because he can't be fired because his dad owns the team, and he's just taking up a spot that I think should go to a more talented driver.
Once again, Felipe Drugovich.
Drugovich, or pick a driver from Formula 2 that's done really well over the past couple of years.
Drugovich is a good driver, Dad.
Drugovich is great. Ollie
He's
Behrman's
good.
Ollie Behrman would be another good candidate. Obviously he's a Ferrari Academy driver and whatnot, but the point being, there's a seat being taken up by somebody who's not up to par. And
He was originally. He was a good driver in Formula 3, and he went right to Formula 1. He was a good driver at first. And
once upon a time, he was a very good
Yeah,
driver.
once upon a time.
That has not been the case in the past few years.
That's true. Ever since they became Aston Martin, he's had one champion after another being his teammate, and he's always been beaten by his teammate.
So those incidents, what they eventually led to was probably the best battle of the day,
That's
which
true.
was Magnussen and Stroll,
Yeah.
ironically battling over last position.
Because they both have the exact same amount of a penalty time, and neither of them could probably even get close to another person. Whoever technically was ahead of the other would actually stay ahead of the other.
Right.
Even though they both had penalties.
Right. But it was the best battle the whole race. They were side by side
Oh,
for
definitely.
a good half a lap or more. And it was fantastic to watch, but unfortunately, it was for last place.
I think my favorite part of the race is the amazing yet quite predictable move that Sergio Perez had. I don't think it was the race. I think it was the sprint race, but he had a double overtake on, I think, Sainz and Alonso.
Wouldn't have been on Alonso because Alonso finished ahead of him in the sprint. I don't remember. I don't remember the move you're talking about. It might have been on. I think it was on both Ferraris actually. I think he got past
Maybe.
Sainz and Leclerc.
I do know he had a double overtake. They didn't put it on the crypto award for the 5 options though this time to vote for. I don't know why they didn't. If they put that on there, I would have immediately voted for that one.
Is that something on the simulator on the F1
No,
23 or
no, that's on that. You can find that on F1.com. You can vote
Oh, okay.
for the crypto award.
Well, in the end, the race win once again. Max Verstappen. He's inevitable.
Of course.
He dominated the race. He actually, at the start and at both restarts, he just at the one restart that went to the end, he just absolutely blitzed the restart, walked away with it. The guy is phenomenal. As much as I don't like him personally.
Well, we used to like him in 2021, and now he's just gotten too good.
I've never really liked him that much.
But either way, we don't have Alpine in last anymore, technically. Because even though
That's
Sauber...
right. They got an 11th place and a 13th place, right?
Yes, neither of them got points, though. But the reason why they're still ahead of them, or ahead of the team who is in last place, which is Kick Sauber, is because of Valtteri Bottas' DNF. If he did not DNF, I think Sauber would definitely have gotten way higher in the standings. But because they were doing really good that weekend, and then it just all fell apart.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our predictions then.
Okay. I want to... Can we skip this part?
No.
Please?
Last week, when we made our predictions on our last podcast, you predicted first, second, third would be Leclerc, Sainz, and Verstappen.
I got them all right, though.
You got them all right?
Yes, I did.
How did you get them all right?
Because that's what happened in the race.
No.
Shoot.
So, Leclerc, the full race, where did he finish? 4th?
I think he finished a little bit lower than that. I think he finished like 6th.
I don't remember. Off the podium.
Yeah.
Sainz also finished off the podium.
Yeah.
And then you had Verstappen in 3rd, and like we just said, he pretty much dominated.
Yeah. So I got
my
them all
prediction. My prediction was Verstappen, Norris, Perez,
which were obviously very wrong.
Which, yeah, sure they were. The podium was Verstappen, Norris, Perez. I nailed it for a second podcast in a row.
Okay.
And my boy Norris up there in second place, which is awesome. I just want to point out, Eddie, that I've made my prediction already for the next race. So don't look at my prediction because it's going to be right for a 3rd time in a row.
You've got that magazine from the Back to the Future.
That's right. Yeah, I know the results already. All right. What do you think for the next race, which is in Miami?
Which is in our home country, for one of the 3.
Yeah, this is my least favorite of the 3, but yeah.
I find Coda my least favorite of the 3, but
That's because you're wrong.
I really think we have, even though we are from the United States, I think that we have way too many U.S. Grand Prix because everywhere has 1, Italy has 2, we've got 3.
Yeah, well,
we've got too much.
We have 3 on 3 very far apart places of our country, and our country
That's
is
no excuse.
our country by itself is about half the size of Europe. That's if you look at how close together the races are in Europe, they're closer together than the 3 races in the United States.
Yet we've got none in Greenland or Antarctica. Then again, those are very cold places. But we've also got none in Russia now.
Yeah, well, that's just the way it is. So what do you think? What are your 3 for the Miami Grand Prix?
Oh, Miami? Verstappen's been really dominating, so I'm going to have to say him as much as I really don't want to.
Okay, so who's your second and third?
I think Leclerc's definitely going to do well at this one. But I'm going to surprise you, and I'm going to say that Oscar Piastri is going to get third.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that one. I don't feel confident about the last one.
Well, I mean, I said Norris for second, and I didn't feel confident when I said it.
Yeah, I
got it
immediately
right.
told you last time that I was like, that's even more odd than mine. Apparently it was not.
Well, I am going to say Verstappen first, and a return to form for Perez. He'll be second, and Leclerc third.
So let's put
So
that
I
as...
don't think your Leclerc in second is too far off. I'm saying him for third.
So let's put yours opposite. That way you don't win the next one.
You want me to switch mine around
Yes.
so that Piastri gets his first win?
Yeah, I do.
How about I leave it how it is, and Leclerc can win, or something like that. All right. Well,
Or leave it like that and Leclerc can win. Okay.
how about we wrap it up?
Okay.
All right. This has been our Chinese Grand Prix of 2024 race review. Thanks for listening, everyone. Make sure you give the podcast a like on whatever your podcast platform of choice is. And I've been Danny Kane.
And I've been...
Fast F1 is produced by Danny Kane and Eddie Meteye-O'Kane. All rights are reserved. Music is performed by Alex Zavesa. Thanks for listening.